Hello beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Louisa, if you haven't been here before. I'm coming to you from another natural spot in Sunshine Coast, Queensland, with the sun beating down on me and the lorikeets in the background, wind to deal with, cicadas in the background. So I don't know why I bother to come outside. If I just shot inside in a studio, then I wouldn't have any dramas, but I'm really hoping that you can all hear me, and I'll try to speak as clearly and loudly as possible. So I just wanted to touch in about the topic of manifestation, which is hopefully pertinent for many of you right now, because always with the new year comes a kind of a freshness, a newness, as well as a bit of a tradition around, New Year's resolutions and setting intentions. So we've also just passed through a new moon, beautiful time to set intentions. We get a chance every lunar month to revisit that. When the moon is not seen at all, known as a new moon, we can ask for the seeds of what we want to be planted deep into the soil of consciousness, the collective shared consciousness, as well as our own personal consciousness, and watch as the cycle of the moon takes care of that manifestation, with the full moon being the opposite energy, the energy of culmination, celebration, radiation, full light, everything coming to light. Then of course we have every stage in between. So given the energies, given the time of year, I thought it might be a good time to make this video. It's actually been a video a long time in the making, because manifestation has been my assignment in recent years. So I believe that Great Spirit gives us, or our soul, our higher self gives us assignments that we're here to accomplish on earth. The tricky part is we don't know what those assignments are. We don't come with a manual, okay? It's only when you start to live through certain patterns and things that are happening to you regularly that you perhaps grasp what your assignment might be. And usually in hindsight, we can look back and go, oh, that was the thing I was learning about during that episode in my life. So I see we have kind of mini assignments, and they are like chapters of a book, where we get to explore a certain facet of that assignment. And then we have parts. You know how often books are separated into parts, part 1, part 2, part 3, and so on. And within each part is lots of chapters. So the parts for me are the larger assignment, the theme of the many chapters for a period of time. And I have been working consciously with 2 major assignments in my lifetime. The first was the assignment of forgiveness, the assignment of the challenge of forgiving myself and my family for any hurt or ill feeling or grievance that was held, for any action that I took that I was regretful of, for anything that I felt other people had done to me. I'm just checking the sound there because I know the wind can really mess things up. So this assignment of mine on forgiveness actually lasted a long time. Perhaps it was my whole adult life until I finally completed it. And I know it was completed because when it was completed, I felt peace in my heart, like total peace, total love, unconditional love for my family, had accomplished that. And I've spoken a lot about that theme. So if you go back on my previous videos, you'll see that there's themes about estrangement from family and the spiritual benefits that can be had at that time. And there's also many themes about conflict and forgiveness and healing from attachment trauma, that kind of thing. So if you look at my videos from right up until 2018, I was really working with that theme. When you've completed a theme, things will change quite dramatically, and in around 2017, there's always an overlap. You start completing one and the other one starts to come in. I began to consciously work with manifestation. And I have learned a lot, and I'm pleased to say it seems like that assignment I completed a lot more quickly, which is no surprise because the energy is speeding up on our planet. The capacity for us to shift and change is faster than it's ever been. So I'm able to work through things quicker. We all are. Process faster, and learn because we have access to more information as our planet passes through the photonic light belt that is so powerful at this time, the predicted end of the era and beginning of the new one. Everything is speeding up. We are receiving a lot more light, and light is information. So we receive a lot more information. That means we have more resources at our disposal. Our cells will respond more quickly. And we have, in a sense, only to ask now and we shall receive. Things are happening that fast. So given this quickening, the manifestation assignment of my life, I feel, has now come to a completion, and I feel myself entering a new assignment, which I will speak about as I learn about it. I only teach what I know, and so once I've gone through an assignment, that's what I share. And this most recent one was probably lasting about 4 years, involved many challenges around trying to manifest what I wanted. Obviously, that's what manifestation is for most of us. It's a personal thing. And as much as we might, will love and abundance and joy and prosperity for everybody on the planet, of course we want that for ourselves. And that's okay, right? It's okay. It's not selfish to try to manifest your heart's desires. And the reasoning behind that Great Spirit has shown me is because when we are whole, when we are healed, when we are in a state of joy, happiness, abundance, forgiveness, compassion, and all the good things, this is the frequency that we emit out. And this is then available to other people just through our very presence of being. We add to the frequency on the planet. We raise the frequency. And wherever we go, I call it like file swapping. We file share with other human beings around us. We sometimes may articulate what we know and they'll pick up that information on a mental plane, but often it's just an energetic file sharing, right? Just through our very presence. We are like a walking Akashic library, and we can transmit that information from one person to another without any words at all. So whatever you've learned, think of yourself as a walking, living library, and that is in itself a gift to the world. Okay. So when we think of manifestation, I know for myself there was so many knots inside me when I thought of this topic, like conflicting ideas around, do I deserve it, or I can never do this. The very topic of manifestation speaks to our deepest inner conflicts about whether or not we deserve something, or we can achieve it, or it's possible. So our desire to manifest might come in conflict with our belief system, our deep core beliefs. That's probably why it took me so long to really work through the manifestation and begin to achieve tangible results in the physical. And I'm not going to go so deeply into the core beliefs today. I might look at it in another video, because core beliefs, especially unconscious ones, so programs that are running in the background, can really hold us back from achieving what we want in our lives. It is a big topic, okay, and speaks to a process of, going within and ferreting out those negative core beliefs and making sure that we are deconstructing the old program. So without going into the deep side of it, I'm just going to give you today a formula for manifestation which will work for you if you have worked on your core beliefs a lot. So this video perhaps is not for people who are still really entrenched in sorting out their old negative patterning, because when I think about it myself, I wouldn't have been able to step into the manifestation assignment until I had completed the forgiveness assignment. This was important, right? I couldn't open up my goodies, the treasures that my higher self had waiting for me, until I'd done the work, until I'd healed my shadow. So if you're finding yourself right now in a state of deep emotional turmoil and you've got a lot of relationship problems, that usually indicates an assignment on the relationship forgiveness level, like I had to go through, then that probably is your work right now. So if you try these manifestation techniques and they don't work, it may well be because you're simply not ready for them to work, okay? Everything that you want will come to you when you are ready. And when you are ready is not something that you can make happen, okay? When you're ready is a complex relationship between yourself and your higher self, your soul destiny, your soul team, what you agreed to before you were born, and the work that you've done in this life. So there's many, many things that go into making when you're ready. And you will know the difference of when you're ready and when you're not. And sometimes we think we're ready and we're like, we're absolutely ready for wealth and abundance. Yes, bring it in now, right? But have you learnt the lessons of poverty yet? Or have you learnt the lessons of lack? Or have you learnt the lessons of sovereignty? I.e. seeing the world not as lack, but seeing yourself as wealthy and that you are fully empowered. Seeing that you are not a victim of anything, that you always have the power to create. So there may well still be lessons for you that are holding you back from manifesting X. However, that said, I still want to offer this formula because I don't know where you're at. Only you can tell where you're at. So you're going to resonate with this right now and go, yes, speaks to my journey right now. I am in the manifestation assignment and this is the information that may help me. Or, you're going to try it and it's really not going to work. So, because you've got other things to work on. That's fine. Nonetheless, I still think that these tools can be worked with in smaller ways. So your heart's desire might be, to have a romantic partner, to have a love, to meet your soulmate. Maybe you're not ready for that yet, but maybe you can work on your manifestation tools with something a little bit more humble, like I want to manifest, it may be a job that comes more easily to you, or it might be I want to manifest my heart's desire to be a cook, a really good cook. So I'm going to call in the teacher that I need to teach me how to cook well, or I'm going to manifest my heart's desire to read more. It can be really small, and it's good to start small because that's how we learn. The idea of babies taking a few steps and then stumbling and then getting up again and then walking before they can run, this is a law that applies our whole life. So you judge where you are and what you're ready for to manifest. Alright, so this is literally a formula that I was given from Spirit after I'd done a lot of baby steps, stumbling, getting up, trying again, working with intentions and visualizations and really trying to tune into what I wanted and needed. And I should actually preface this by saying that you can plant the seeds now, no matter what. So 7 years ago, my husband and I did a visualization vision quest weekend where we went away and we really tuned into what we wanted. And it's interesting for me to look back on that time because I had none of these tools I'm about to give you. It was just very intuitive, and most of your work will be because it's such a unique personal journey. So I just picked up a whole lot of ideas for that weekend. We played around, we did some visioning, some meditation, we made a fire and we burnt what we didn't want, and I think we wrote what we did want on little rocks, and we walked through the forest and we planted them in specific spots and hoped that that seed would sprout. And then the most beautiful thing we did was we did a shared piece of art where we actually drew what we wanted. And what we drew was land, so land in the country with a veggie patch and lots of animals around us and a very sort of tropical looking setting, and a simple homesteading life. That was what we both wanted. That was 7 years ago. Now, it has only happened this year that this dream has manifested. And honestly, it manifested out of the blue. When you're working with spirit, the way that it manifests will be so magical, you will never see it coming. Then you know that you are really communicating with spirit, that you are really tuned in and tapped on, or what is that thing that Esther Hicks talks about? Tuned in, tapped in, turned on. Okay? That you've created a channel between you and spirit, you and the universe, you and the world. You are one with the world. But we have to break down this idea that we're separate. So 7 years ago, I still felt very separate from the universe. I still felt my manifestation powers, if you want to call it that, was in its infancy. And yet I planted the seed anyway. So wherever you are in the journey, plant the seed and wait. Wait till you're ready. Now, along that way, on the 7 years before the final manifestation of this particular dream, one thing that is also very important to preface this formula with is to remain grateful for whatever you have at the time, in the present moment. What have you got right now? So let's say you want to create a dream of living on the land in the country, but you live in a unit in the city. How are you going... Sorry, I'm just waiting for the wind. Lots of wind. How are you going to embody gratitude? Maybe it's a pot plant. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe all you have in your little unit that reflects nature and the natural environment that you ultimately want to live within is a pot plant. Express gratitude for that pot plant every day, every time you look at it. Grateful for that pot plant. Isn't that pot plant beautiful? Any uplifting thoughts and feelings you can have about your pot plant is a seed of gratitude. Now, gratitude acts like a trail of breadcrumbs leading you to your manifestation. So, to use that example I just gave in my own life, we did live in a unit in the city 7 years ago, and we had a tree right tucked in the corner in the courtyard. And I remember being so grateful for the shade of that tree, because so many other units don't have trees anywhere. Just one tree. I was like, oh, thank you. And then we were grateful for the park around the corner. Does anyone know Alma Park in Melbourne? It's a beautiful little park. It's very humble. It's small, but it has this lovely walkway through plants and flowers and lovely trees, kind of landscaped, but some natural parts too. Every day we went for a walk in Alma Park, and I just appreciated the foliage and the smells and the little birds and the wind on my face, right? Then we moved to a place in the more outer suburbs, which had a big garden, and it was kind of a feral, wild-looking garden. No one else had a garden like it in the street. There was all these perfect sort of mowed lawns and a lot of concrete, but our garden was kind of wild, and we had this great big eucalypt tree in the back garden, and we ended up with some chickens. Yeah, so you see how we bought 3 chickens in a suburban garden, and we were creating our little homestead, and we started to grow some veggies. And then there was a bigger park that we used to go for a walk nearby, and this was beautiful now. So we'd migrated from Alma Park to Gardeners Creek, and Gardeners Creek had flowing natural stream and big trees and lots of wide open spaces, and it was really beautiful. And we walked there every day. And we didn't walk there every day going, this isn't good enough, we should be living in the country. We walked there every day, singing the praises of the land and the trees and thanking the sight of a kookaburra or the sun on our faces. So we were in gratitude. Then we moved up to southeast Queensland, and again to even more of a kind of a natural environment. And this time we had not a little creek running through in a local park, but this time we had a waterhole that we shared with some other people on the same property, an actual swimming waterhole. Oh my gosh, now that made my heart sing with gratitude. And finally, we got here to where we are now, on a property with 22 acres of koala country, where we can, this is the manifestation, right? And it happened magically, like so magically. I just, earlier this year, couldn't have imagined that we would be in this position. Now, before it manifested, I wasn't in a state of lack. Yes, I was wishing that, perhaps we could have it, but not in a clingy sort of a way, in a patient way. We have to be prepared to be patient. We walk with Spirit in Spirit's time, or we walk with our higher self in our higher self's time. This is about surrender. We have to be humble. If we try to come at things from an ego, I want this must happen now, then a bug. Then we're acting from ego. This isn't how creation works. It's a co-creation, right? We have to align ourselves with what is happening, and we have to trust that whatever is happening is actually perfect for us right now. So if you catch yourself going into victim consciousness, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. It's natural, right? You might not be in the best place right now, and it can be very uncomfortable sometimes, and even painful to be where you are. But look around you and find one way to be grateful, or 2 ways to be grateful, or better yet, 3 ways to be grateful. How can you be grateful for what you have right now? And maybe all it is some sunshine and fresh air, or the sound of a bird at dawn as you wake up in your unit in the city, if living in the country is what you want, okay? So apply that sort of principle to anything that you want, relationships, or a career, or money, or peace. Maybe it's just a sense of well-being and health. What is one ray during the day of something you can be grateful for in your own health, your own psychological well-being? Right, so gratitude is the foundation. And then from that foundation, here is the formula, the magic formula from Spirit, okay? So first of all, we have to do something that some of us has been taught is the wrong thing to do. And that is, we have to admit and be completely honest with ourselves about what we really want. We have to tune into our burning, deep desire, right? Now, desire has become a dirty word sometimes in some religions, and this is in times gone past, but also in the New Age spiritual movement too. This idea that you can't have a desire, you must detach from everything. No, you can have a desire, but the trick is around attachment, which we'll go into in a minute. But first of all, allowing yourself to have the desire. Wind. Now, there can be some programming about why you don't want to fully feel your desires. It can be because deep down you feel like you don't deserve it. It can be because you were told it's not okay, it's selfish to want what you want. It can be because you think you should put everybody else first. So parents are at risk, I suppose, of this. I have met, a lot of people who hold this belief system that no, everybody else first. Especially mums and dads. I just see it as a trend. Okay, so to get this formula right, you've got to push all of that programming to the side for one moment. Just allow yourself to have the desire. Just for one moment, get all of that programming, why you shouldn't have it, why it's impossible, why you don't deserve it. You get that out the way and just tune in honestly to what you want. Allow yourself to get real about that. Just say, gee, honestly, I so deeply want a love in my life. I so deeply want someone to hold at night. Or I so deeply want a place to call home. That was mine. I so deeply want that. I so deeply want to have money. Money so I can buy whatever I want and I can help people. Most of you beautiful hearted people, you're not going to do bad things with money. You're going to help other people. You're going to spend it on good stuff. Allow yourself to want it. Right? So tune into this. Utter it and feel the emotions. Feel what it's like to truly, truly want it. Speak to spirit or to yourself, whichever feels more comfortable for you, or to God. The next thing we do is we add a commanding, co-creating intention. Right? So we've tuned into our desire, and now we're going to step out of the feeling realm. We don't want feelings with this. We just want a statement. And we're commanding quantum field, God, universe, higher self, spirit, commanding that this is our wish, right? We're not attaching to it, but we're asking for it. So we might say something like, my home arrives in the perfect time, in the perfect way. The love of my life arrives in the perfect time, in the perfect way. My abundance arrives in the perfect time and the perfect way. Can you see how I am not stipulating how that should look? I'm not saying when it should come. I'm not saying my perfect love turns up tall, dark and handsome. He's a musician from Essendon and he's 34 years old and rah, 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 right? You can't be so specific with spirit because your ego does not actually know how this is going to manifest. This is the magical part, right? Your ego cannot possibly foresee this. I could never have foreseen how my land would manifest. It was so left field that I'm still in a state of awe and shock about how it happened. So let there be magic and surrender to the mystery of that. Allow it to be mysterious, right? But give it a container, a shape with your statement. And in your statement, you're commanding that this shall happen. This shall happen in perfect time and in the perfect way. You could add the words divine in there, in the divine timing and in the divinely perfect way. This is a way of respecting and honoring spirit and the universe for allowing you to channel these wishes into creation and form. That might be a nice thing to do. You have to find the right words for you. Those are just the words that I like. Okay, so we have burning desire to be felt, then clear statement without emotion, just simple trust. This is how it is. Okay, I'm bringing this in because your word is your manifestation tool. Your word is your power, is your magic. So speak it out loud and write it down. Now, the next thing you have to do is you have to release fear or the need to control. So you will need to acknowledge your fears. That can be very helpful. So separating out the desire and the intention, now you focus on your fears. My fears are this is never going to happen. My fears are I'm going to be poor for the rest of my life. My fears are I'm going to be homeless. My fears are I'm going to be lonely when I'm 85. My fears are yada, yada, yada. Okay? Feel your fears, acknowledge them, and then discard them, right? You're going to give an instruction to your whole being that you acknowledge that these fears are there, but they are not going to be a player in this manifestation, right? You're going to discard them. Like, it's like going on the file on your computer. You're going to let them go. You're going to acknowledge that they don't have any power. They're just there. They're like, I don't know, little children who say, I hate you, when they don't get what they want, but you know they don't really hate you, right? You don't take them seriously. They're there, but you don't take them seriously. So let them be. Thank you, but I'm not going to pay attention to you, right? You also, at the same time, have to let go of your need to control the outcome, because your need to control is tied up to your fears. If you're trying to control it, it's because you're afraid it's not going to happen. So, I had some examples of this when I was looking for a house, a rental. This is now a year ago, when the rental market up here was really tight, and I was worried that we weren't going to find a home. And I found myself, trying to control it, like overly control it. And there was one time when a real estate agent told me at the very last moment that there was an inspection for a house that I wanted, but I had to work at that exact time. And I'm like, oh gosh, and the work that I had to do was really important. It wasn't something I could just drop, I had a responsibility. So I consulted in with Spirit, and I realized that if I dropped my work and I went to this inspection, I would be doing so out of fear that I wasn't going to get the house or get a house. And so I decided, no, you know what, I'm going to honor. I'm not going to be in fear. I'm going to act from a place of trust. I'm going to do what I said I would do. This is the right thing for me at this time. And there will be another house. There will be another opportunity. It'll all be fine. And of course it was. It was all fine, because a few weeks later we ended up getting a different house. Okay? So you don't want to act from fear. You've got to release the need to be in control. And you are at the same time now, so that's the next bit of the formula. The fourth part is you're going to act from an intuitive place. You're going to read signs. You're going to look for signs, right? Because you sent out an intention into the quantum field. And the universal law is that every desire must be fulfilled. So when you send out such a clear message of a desire, because your message is, your signal has come from your burning felt desire, the very first step, you felt it, you send out a signal into the quantum field, that must be fulfilled at some point, right? Whether it's now or it's in another lifetime, it will be fulfilled. As you sow, so shall you reap, okay? But you can't control that. You can't control the when or the how. But what you can do now is you can act on the signs. So you've sent the signal out into the quantum field, and the quantum field is going to start bringing it to you. You're calling it in. But if you're not paying attention to the signs, it will just take a lot longer to manifest. It will eventually manifest, but it will take longer. It will be more painful for you. So you're on the lookout for signs. And those signs could be anything. It might be a dream that you have. It might be a person who comes into your life that has exactly the thing that you want. Or, it could be absolutely anything, really. I can't give you an example for that other than follow your hunches, okay? So, an example with the land that I can give you here is that as the quickening began to happen for my manifestation, as some things started to align, and some people came into our lives that could assist us, and I started to get some signs about the land we were going to buy. And it's I don't want to give away my address just for privacy's sake, but let's say I live on Honeysuckle Lane, okay, for argument's sake. So this piece of property was on Honeysuckle Lane, and this is before we bought it. And the morning that I was going to have a look at the land, I got stuck behind a car with the word honeysuckle on the back, right? These are just little signs that you're heading in the right direction. Spirit will give you signs. You also have to act. That's part of listening to the signs. So I had to actually get in the car and go have a look at that property, or a whole bunch of other things that I had to do to make this happen, right? We're not passive. Our dreams don't just plonk out of the sky and land in our laps. That isn't how it works. It's a co-creation. We are participators in this universe. So we must act. Okay, so that's the fourth thing. Now, this one is not so much a step, it's the last thing to think about. It's more of an overall philosophy that I would like you to cultivate, a belief. So if your foundation is gratitude, then this is your umbrella. This is the belief that you look up to for inspiration every time this manifesting thing comes into your field of awareness, whether it's negative or positive, whether you get excited, oh, it's going to happen, or oh my God, it's never going to happen, or you're just daydreaming out the window. It is to know that the perfect outcome is for the highest good, that everything that is occurring is for your highest good, and there can be no other way for anything to happen. Now, people find this really hard to believe, that it's because the world can be painful and that painful things can happen. And we don't want to believe that pain is a part of this world. We try to escape pain all the time as human beings. The irony is if we just sit with discomfort, if we allow things to be as they are, we will learn the gifts, we will understand what the gift is. There is always a gift. This universal creation is nothing but pure benevolent love. And every painful experience, every perceived lack is simply a way to push us further into the light, and we agree to it. It's not like we're passive victims here. It feels that way, and that's part of the game that we play in the Earth School. We forget how the magnificent creators that we actually are, and we fall into a sleep, and we play here. We play with ourselves, right? It's a game. It's a game of how deeply can you trust this? How much can you love this? And when you activate your heart in that way, when you work with your heart, when you see with your heart at all times, you will see nothing but love, you will see nothing good in everything that happens. Everything. You can have a car accident and it's for your highest good. And it's little things too. I advise you to practice this on little things, because often if you get the lessons on little things, you won't have to learn them on the big things. You won't have to have a car accident to wake you up to realize that you are nothing but love. But let's say a little thing might be that you're running late. You've got some important appointment and you're running late. Something happens. I don't know. Your child trips over and scrapes their knee, and now you have to attend to your child. Or what if you had actually gotten in your car to go to that appointment at that exact time, there would have been some accident? What if Spirit was keeping you away from some danger? Or what if, because you're late, it means that when you did finally rock up to school to drop your child off, you bumped into the perfect person who had the answer to your problem, right? This is the quantum field. It's intelligent and it's working all the time, and it's mysterious and magical. And part of the fun when you really let go in life is just allowing that to be. And every single thing that happens, you look around and go, oh, that's interesting. You can still be uncomfortable in those experiences sometimes, like, oh, damn it, you get frustrated, or you're stuck behind someone in traffic, or with the really big stuff, you suffer, you lose someone you love, or terrible things happen on the earth plane. It's true, but there's always a gift. It's always serving us for the highest good. So this is our way of spiritually evolving, is to start to see this. And when you get good at this, it's kind of like game over. Not game over, but it's next level. You move up a level, and life starts to give you different kinds of challenges. So me myself now, I know that the manifestation assignment has it's never ending, because I'll keep playing that game, to create the life that I want. But the lessons learnt right now are the lessons done, dusted. And I'm on to the next thing. So upper level, doing something new and different, and learning again. It's always learning. So, okay. Well, I really hope that helps a few of you and gets you inspired to plant your seeds, feel your desires, trust where you want to go, trust the universe, trust everything that's happening around you, and release your fears. They're there, but they don't have to be impacting on this. And if you can do that, then things will manifest a lot faster. So yeah, I will come back with another video soon, I'm sure. And now I'm going to go and have a quick swim. It's very hot here in Queensland. I sit in the sun for you guys and melt. Anyway, that's my own fault, I know. I just like to be in nature. It's so beautiful. Please take care. I love you so much, and